Okay.
Every once in a while.
Okay.
There might not be.
Is there any hypodermic needles that are going to stick me or anything?
No.
Nothing uncapped?
No.
Okay, do you smoke or do you shoot?
I eat it.
You eat it? You eat it? Come on now, you eat it?
I eat it.
Okay.
Hey, good morning and happy Saturday to everybody. I had already thought about making a video about the way addicts manipulate and lie, and the importance of telling the truth, being completely, brutally honest once you're in recovery. And I came across this video watching a police, one of those police shows. I can't remember the name of it now. And it's an example. This lady says how she eats methamphetamine. No one. That's not true. I know this beyond a doubt. Nobody eats methamphetamine. Nobody eats cocaine because it won't give you the high, and it'll more than likely it will kill you. That's nobody ingests it that way. It's a lie. You know, anybody it's a lie. They're gonna end up in the emergency room, not with a buzz. That's all I got. You know, that's the bottom line. Do you remember this basketball player called Len Bias? All right. Back in the 80s, they used to have, for some reason, they used to put cocaine around the rim of a glass, similar to what you would do with like tequila or whatever. You put like crushed salt on the rim of the glass, but they got this brilliant idea, these basketball players, these college kids, to put cocaine around the rim of the glass, and it killed them. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I know this lady's lying. And here's the thing: she's lying for no reason whatsoever. What different? The cop is asking, do you shoot it, or do you smoke it, or do you snort it? Those, the three ways to ingest it. Most addicts, hardcore addicts. I don't get me wrong. Now, first of all, I've never used an injection, and I don't have access to methamphetamine around here in New England, believe it or not. Well, up until when I got clean and sober in 2006, for some reason, there was no methamphetamine in Connecticut. Just tons of cocaine, but no methamphetamine. But anyway, addicts will lie about anything, and I'm not even sure why. I used to do the same thing. I would lie about anything and everything, to myself, to the other people I was using with, to my family, and they were nonsense lies. I would make up lies where I'd been, what I ate, what I spent money on, and there were times when I didn't even need to do that, and I would still lie. And I to this day, I can't even tell you why. Right now, I would tell you that I think it's trying to avoid at that point, it's trying to avoid me realizing that I'm an addict. It's trying, I think in some way it's trying to obscure the facts in my head. It's lying to myself. I think that, like this lady here talking about eating it, I think really it's more her trying to deny to herself about the real problem, more than it is than lying to the cop. And it still doesn't make any sense. And I don't know why addicts do it. And I did the same thing. It's still illegal. You're still ingesting it. I don't know. For some reason, in her head, I've been in her head. And in her head, by her saying that she eats it, it makes it a little less illicit. Because people eat stuff. People eat food. People eat medicine. They take it by mouth. And she's overweight. So I think, she's trying to make it just this much okay. That, hey, I don't shoot it. Hey, I don't snort it. Addicts do that. I don't smoke it. Addicts do that. I eat it because I'm overweight. And I know it's illegal, but I'm trying to lose weight, and I eat it like you'd eat diet medication. That's what she's going for. It just all clicked just there. And I know because I was that lying, fucking manipulating addict. And it's amazing. Now think about this, how fast the addict mind works. to come up with this bizarre storyline in their heads. That's why addicts are incredibly adept at manipulating. And that's one thing that, I mean, if I wanted to, you become very practiced at it. And it's still, I mean, it's still in me. It's still there. I would never use it because that's, you know, it's just like lying. It's one of those things that it's something that just won't lead to anything good. But, you know, addicts are amazing when it comes to manipulating and lying. I remember when I was in a detox one time, and I went up to get my medication, just regular medication, like aspirin to come off, to deal with withdrawals and stuff. And they'd give you one kind of stronger, it was like an allergy medication, just, it wasn't even narcotic. And I would always ask for that. And I'd say I had a headache. And I'd say, I really do have a headache. And this nurse said, yeah, right. She said, she goes, how do you know an addict's lying? Because their lips are moving. And I got so offended when I heard that. How dare you? But it was the truth, man. You know, and addicts lie. It's just, it's part of the disease. Okay, so this brings me, so that's why it's so important to me. Like, yeah, I made videos here talking about pornography. And what I really used to do, what my routine was, how I used cocaine. You know, my thing was I would go get the cocaine. I would get some porno books on the way back, usually like big boob books, big boob videos. The bigger and more obscene, the better. I don't know, it was part of the whole thing. And I'd come back and smoke crack and page through. And then, like I told you guys in another video, I'd actually post, I would rip out the pictures and pin them up on the wall in my spare room. And I don't even know why, because there was times when I ended up in detoxes a lot at that time. And there's a lot of times those pictures would just stay up on the wall. And my family would come over, my mother would come over after and find this bizarre fucking spare room. And I couldn't even explain why I did that. It was part of the psychosis. And it's like, and then the sexual part never even came in because the drugs were so much more important than anything else. It was just bizarre. Anyway, that's why I tell you guys, that's why I put everything out there. It's important for me. Once you start lying, once an addict starts lying, it's a rabbit hole. So, and like I've told you guys before too, it is a wonderful, I never knew it could feel this good. Like I've said before, I don't say anything, I don't go anywhere, I don't do anything every day that I have to lie about. There's nothing I have to hide in my daily life. I was just watching a movie this morning. I forgot what it was called. And one of the characters said something about everybody has secrets. And I was like, man, I don't think I do. Maybe, you know, you could say I got a boring life. I get up, I work out. I mean, I put everything out there. At 53, I mean, you could call it boring. But to me, it's freeing because I have nothing to hide. I didn't realize how much fucking energy goes into lying and in covering up. And I remember being a teenager and lying a lot about smoking pot and all that. And in the back of my head, because I was lying a real lot. And in the back of my head, I used to wonder, is this going to come back to me? Because it didn't feel right. And, and it did. And it all did, man, In the back of my head, I had a gut feeling that you just can't get away with it. You can't pretend to be something you're not and have it all work out, like fairy tale, because it's a lie. And there's still times when I have to correct my mom, who I love more than anything on this earth. we'll be talking, and she'll tend to, even just between us two, she'll tend to make it sound like my whole addiction just had to do with 2 back operations and the pills I took after, which led to heroin. And it's a nice little clean story. Poor Daryl, he's the victim. The doctor got him addicted to the painkillers. No. And I tell her right out, Mom, that's not the truth. I was already smoking crack. I was already dealing fucking cocaine by that time. Going down to the Bronx on a weekly basis. And, I was no fucking angel. When I had that back operation, I was not addicted to opiates yet. I was 34, 36, I believe. I was a hardcore fucking cocaine addict and crack addict, and I drank like a fish. I was addicted to everything but opiates at that time. And then I had a ruptured disc and some other shit. Herniated disc, ruptured disc. The disc broke in half and moved down my spinal cord, and horrific fucking pain that just every second of every day for weeks on end and months. And the doctor prescribed me instant release oxys, 40 milligram oxys, Percocets, those 3 all at once. So much so that the pharmacist at Brooks even called to check because it was an astonishing amount of narcotics. And I did end up getting addicted to, because I had an addict personality, of course. This is one thing I hope doctors learn to spot in the future. Doctors, I'll get to into another video, but anyway. And then, eventually after a couple of years, the doctor cut off the painkillers, and I went right to heroin. But yeah, see, I could lie. I could see her online and lie all day and say, oh, I'm a victim, damn painkillers. I had a great life. I was a draftsman. I could candy coat my past and twist it just enough to make it sound like, I had a great life. And then a bad, damn, my back. And I hurt my back because of my employer. And then I got addicted to painkillers because of the doctor. And look where I am now. Damn it. None of that's my fault. And that's all bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. I knew the risks. When I started taking those painkillers, I was a fucking addict. I knew all about drugs. I knew exactly what they do. I was a smart guy. I knew fucking heroin was physically addictive. I knew those painkillers were physically addictive. And I knew what was going to happen to me. I knew I was going to get cross-addicted. And I had been using cocaine since I was 18. I had been using fucking coke for 20 years at that point. So yeah, Mom, my family, yeah. I hate to remind you again and again, but I was already an addict when I started taking those pills. And I'm just talking about lying, and it's important when you're in recovery, man. It's critically important. If just to put it all out there, it hurts, it sucks, it's scary, because you don't know how you're going to be judged. But the beautiful thing is, it's like, what? This is me. That was me then, and I love who I am now. I'm proud of who I am now, and it took being that person to get me to where I am today. Hey, I could even use a corny thing like the caterpillar into the butterfly. Oh God, that's painful. That was bad to say. Anyway, addicts will lie for no freaking reason. And it's just to lie to themselves. You see what I was saying about this woman at the beginning? So I know I ramble, but that's it, man. In recovery, it's important to be truthful with yourself, first of all. And then to thine own self be true, like it says on our coin, on the NA coin. Truthfulness is important. Or you know what? Even more important is living a life that you don't have to be ashamed of. That's the key right there. All right, you guys have a great Saturday.